Why is your ex-wife so mean to you? And how can you deal with it? What should you do about it? I'm Rachael Sloan. I'm a relationship coach, and I specialize in helping men survive divorce. And I hear so often from my clients that my ex-wife is really mean, right? She's critical, she's cold, sometimes she is downright cruel. And for a lot of men, this really strikes a nerve because often it is the woman who initiates the divorce, it's the woman who files. And in that case, it leaves a lot of men wondering, well, what did I do wrong? Is there something wrong with me? And now you have this ex-wife who's telling you all the things that are wrong with you, and it can really hurt and make you question yourself on a deep level. I want to share some really important information with you. Your wife is mean to you, and it has nothing to do with you. It's all about her. And I don't mean that she's just reflecting her own self-criticism onto you. That can certainly be a part of it, but there's something bigger going on. We have this big myth that is very pervasive in our society that in a breakup, really in the breakup of any relationship, whether it's romantic, a friendship, or even leaving a job, that somebody is the good guy and somebody's the bad guy. Somebody's the victim, somebody's the perpetrator. So, how does this play out in a relationship? Your ex-wife does not want to believe that she's a bad person, which means she's got to make you the bad person. Either she's the asshole or you're the asshole. Someone's got to be it, and she'd rather it be you. This is not a conscious thought process. This is a subconscious, deeply ingrained way of looking at relationships that most of us in Western society have. You can look at examples in your own life. Have you ever broken off a friendship or left a job? Look back and think about all the ways that you justified that decision. Most of them are probably painting that friend to look like a toxic person, a bad influence, somebody who was ruining your life or causing you pain. You left a job because the boss was an asshole. They didn't pay enough. They worked you too hard. You have all these reasons why it was okay for you to break off that relationship, for you to leave that job or change that situation because they were bad and you were the victim of that bad behavior. Your ex-wife might not be at all aware that she's thinking this way, but subconsciously, if she admits that you're a good guy, if she admits that part of her might still love you, if she admits that maybe she had a role to play in what went wrong in your marriage, well, then she's going to be the asshole, right? And that is really painful. It is really painful to believe that you are a bad person. It causes so much mental anguish. If you're going through a divorce, I'm sure you know a little bit about this because divorce can start to make you question so much about yourself and who you are. Ultimately, your ex is being mean for one of two reasons. Either she's trying to draw you into a fight, right? She's trying to bait you so that you react and prove that you're the bad guy. The second reason that she might be being mean to you is because she's already created a mental image of you as the bad guy, as the narcissist, as the asshole, as the one who's selfish. She might have already constructed this whole mental representation of you because we do this all the time. It's very common to construct a mental image, again, subconsciously, of the people in our lives. And then we react to that mental image and not to the person in front of us. So your wife may very well have already subconsciously created her mental representation of you as selfish, as the asshole, as the bad guy, even as the narcissist. And now when you're in front of her, she can't respond just to you because she's got this mental representation that tells her what you're like and how to react to you. In that case, she's already decided you're the bad guy. That justifies her decision to leave, makes her into the good guy or the victim, and she just responds to that person instead of to you. We just took a really close look at what's going on in her brain. Probably a closer look than she has, right? Most of these thoughts and beliefs and reactions are subconscious. But what is the truth of the situation? The truth is that you and she were in this together. You guys were dancing out the cycle of your relationship together. Relationships are a give and take. We form habits of reacting and acting with our partners. Maybe your cycle is that you pursue her and seek her attention, and she feels overwhelmed and pulls away. Maybe the cycle is that she's anxious and demanding and wants more than you feel like you can provide, and you feel like you're not enough for her and you withdraw. Or maybe your cycle is that you both have some deep-seated fears of abandonment or have been hurt in the past, and neither one of you is ever able to be truly emotionally vulnerable with the other. And so you miss each other, and you never really know what's going on at a deep level. No matter what that cycle looks like for you, you two did it together. Think of it as an emotional dance that becomes a habit. It becomes a rigid cycle, a way that you interact with each other over and over and over again. All of that means that there is no bad guy. She's not the bad guy. You're not the bad guy. You're just two people caught in an unproductive cycle. Right? The negative cycle of your interaction is the real enemy here. It's the real bad guy. So when your ex is mean to you, you have a couple of choices. You can stay in that dance with her and respond the way that you usually do. And that cycle will continue for however long you guys continue to have interactions. Or you can be the one to step out and start to change the music. The way that you change the music is to change your part in the cycle. It means recognizing that her meanness, her harsh words aren't about you, that that's about her and her own fears about who she is and what her choices mean about her. The other part of this is that you also have to recognize that your reaction to her words, your habitual response to her being mean, whether that's getting drawn into the fight or pulling away and not speaking to her or something in between, your reaction is not about her. That's the hard part about changing the music, is you have to realize that when you react to something she says or does, she's just a trigger. She's not the problem. Her mean words, her criticism, her coldness, even her cruelty, that's not the problem. Your reaction is based in your own underlying fears, your own underlying insecurities, your own worry that maybe you're a bad person, or that maybe you're not worthy of love, or that maybe you'll never find somebody who truly understands and appreciates and sees you for who you are. The things that she says to you, the tone of voice she uses, those are just signs. Those are just cues. Those are just triggers for these deeper, more primal, more terrifying emotions that are probably well hidden under the surface. So if you want to break this cycle, if you want to step out of the music, you've got to start recognizing what is the trigger and what flows from that. How do I respond? And what is underneath that? What does that response tell me about myself? That might seem like an awful lot of work to do with an ex-partner, right? Why do I even really care if my ex-wife is mean to me? But starting to recognize the cycle the two of you were in and the role that you played in it, that is essential for your happiness and your success in future relationships. Because it is all too easy to repeat these habits and to continue to fall back into the same cycle in new relationships. So whether you focus on doing this with your ex, because her anger gives you this opportunity, right? When she's mean to you, it's an opportunity for you to investigate, explore, and change your own response. Whether you do that with your ex or whether you just bring that awareness into your next relationships, it's really important that you start to look at what goes on between you and your partner as a cycle that you have a very important role in, because ultimately you have a lot of power to direct and control that cycle. Of course, you can't change another person, you can't change their actions, but when you change the music, when you change the dance steps, when you don't respond the same way you used to, and when you recognize the underlying fears and the underlying vulnerability, it completely transforms the way that you communicate with the people that are important to you. And when you can look at your wife, your ex-wife or a future partner, and see that their meanness, their criticism, their anger is just an expression of their own fears about them, honestly, not about you, their own fears that they're not lovable, that they're a bad person, that they've made a mistake, that they're going to have regrets. But when you can start seeing another person's anger in that way, you can have so much more compassion. It completely changes the way you interact. And often that shift in you will stimulate a shift in another person. Doesn't mean you and your ex are going to get back together. It does mean that you can really have a much greater influence over the course of future relationships than you think. I hope that you found this video helpful in understanding why your ex is so mean to you. If you did like this video, please click the like and hit subscribe. It really helps me out. And I would love to hear from you in the comments. Tell me about your experience. Tell me what's going on for you. I love to hear how this advice is affecting your personal life and what you'd like to learn, what you'd like to hear, where you need help and support in this process. All right, thanks for being here with me. I will see you guys again shortly.